Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and today I am super excited to be introducing you guys to what we're going to be focusing on from our stash for the month of April. So this month, our focus in our stash and using our stash for the year of make-alongs is going to be focusing on the portion of our stash, the yarn weight that takes up the most room in our stash, or we have the most of. However, we want to quantify or qualify that is up to us. For me, I personally own a ton of worsted weight yarn. So that's really going to be my number one focus for the month of April. For me personally, it will be the worsted weight. However, my secondary amount, which is by like variety and numbers of colors and things like that, will be fingering weight yarn. So I have most of my fingering weight yarn are single skein balls. And at the end of this video, I will include a clip where we talk about like where things are here in the yarn room. But I do have a number of balls and skeins and hanks of fingering weight that are, made for socks, single skein projects, maybe some blenders and things like that. Whereas with my worsted weight yarn, I do have more like larger projects. We probably won't deal with either of these too much other than finishing projects from the month of March. But like I have this Premier Basics, which probably needs to be turned into donation items, as that's what that is for. Maybe I'll work on a sweater here in the shawl and a ball section. I do have a number of Vanna choices down here that are meant for, hats, shawls, scarves, stuff like that. But I also have a lot of cake yarn on the cake walls that are worsted weight. Whereas with the fingering weight, like I said, it's a lot of single skein projects. I do have I don't have a whole lot of duplicates in my fingering weight. What I do have is in the cabinet behind you guys. And there's like maybe 15 different colorways that I have more than one of. So that will really be my focus, primarily focusing on the worsted weight. Definitely want to consider, like my goal of hats and scarves to donate at the end of the year. And then my secondary goal will be working on fingering weight projects. So what I wrote up for the write-up for this month is this month we are going to hone in on the largest part of our stash. This is either the part of our stash that takes up the most amount of space or where we have the most skeins. Let's start working this down a little and maybe make room for some new things at the end of the year. So with that in mind, I am going to go ahead and switch over to showing you guys the parts of my stash that I will primarily be focusing on. Okay, so we do have a couple of kits up here, a couple of sock sets in this basket here, but this is all fingering weight yarn here, all the way down, including that bin. And then we have, I think this is all DK weight. So yeah, this is primarily what we're going to be looking at for fingering weight. I do have a couple of kits that I'm probably not going to touch. And then this up through that package right there is all fingering weight as well. So I do have 1, 2, 3 tank tops worth or sleeve t-shirt worth. This one right here in the center is a full long sleeve sweater's worth. And I do also have a cardigan's, of course the glare is going to hit that spot, a cardigan's worth of fingering weight right there. So I will probably maybe work on a muscle burra and a cowl, some socks, things like that out of the fingering weight yarns. So as far as the worsted weight goes, size 4 yarn in my stash starts with this cube here, all the way down, all the way over, and it juts back out here. All the way back down. So we've got like a 4x5, so 20 cube section that is primarily acrylics. This section is kind of more wool or wool blends here, but all of that is worsted weight yarn, including the kits there in the center. So I will be focusing heavily on these. I'm not going to worry about my oversized skeins. Most of those I do want to use for joining blankets later on in the year. But then when we come over here, these are all worsted weights. Down the bookshelf here on the cake wall, I do have a blanket downstairs I want to work on. And we have a number of these kits here are also worsted weight. So I've got a lot of different areas. Oh, most of these cottons are also size 4. So, I do have a lot of different areas that I can pull from for this month's make along. I do want to focus a lot on the size 4 yarns, worsted weight, Aran weight, and then secondarily, making a dent in some of this fingering weight yarn. Luckily, like these are my solids. So a lot of these are really made for like heel toe cuffs, doing borders on projects and stuff like that. But I do also have my sock yarn for my self-striping socks for the month of April pulled. So we'll have a lot of progress there too, hopefully. All right, so let me know in the comment section down below, what part of your stash are you really going to be focusing in on? Is it a part of your stash that you've been, collecting to be shawls or a special project? Is it going to be a part of your stash where you just have a ton of yarn that happens to be in that weight and you want to work the weight down a little bit? Do you want to focus on maybe a neglected part of your stash where you have a bunch of yarn, but you're just not reaching for it? Like for me, that's the bulky weight part of my stash. Is there, like what metric are you using to decide what your largest part of your stash is? And also, what do you plan on making with it? Are you looking to make hats, scarves, shawls? I know here in the Northern Hemisphere, we're starting to warm up a little bit. For me, by the end of April, we should hopefully be steadily having highs in the mid 70s, low 80s, because it's already been there quite a bit for the month of February and March. So April should definitely be warmer. Anyway, I love you guys. Please leave a comment down below and let me know what you're working on. As you're working on things, also share your pictures in our Facebook group as well as the Ravelry group. Both are in the description box down below. I love you guys and I look forward to seeing you real soon. Bye, you guys.